Have you ever just stopped and wondered why are kangaroos only in Australia? I mean, really. Or why polar bears are only up in the Arctic, but penguins are all the way down in the Antarctic? It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer, well, the answer unlocks some of the biggest, most amazing secrets about how life itself is spread across our planet.
And the key to solving this whole mystery, it has a name, biogeography. Now I know, it sounds a little academic, a little complicated, but don't let the name fool you. It's really just the story of life's address book, the secret set of rules that decides who gets to live where. So we're going to dive right into these rules and see how they finally solve our kangaroo conundrum.
All right, let's get into it. For this, I want you to think of us as detectives. Our very first step is to open the case file, and our main investigative tool is biogeography itself. We need to get a handle on the where and, most importantly, the why of life on Earth.
So, here's the official breakdown. See, biogeography isn't just about pinning a list of animals on a map. No, it's about understanding the how and the why. It digs into everything from the climate and the soil to the massive sweeping story of evolution and, yep, even our own human impact. It's basically the ultimate detective science for the natural world.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? This is our mission statement. Where are things? Why are they there? And what's changing the picture? Every single clue we're about to uncover is going to help us answer one of these big questions.
Okay, so any good detective starts with the evidence they find at the scene, right? Well, for a biogeographer, that means looking at the rules for life that are in play right now. These are the immediate, present-day clues that are shaping where any living thing can survive or not.
And here it is, the rule book. An animal or a plant can't just pop up anywhere it feels like. It has to have the right climate, the perfect amount of rain, the right temperature. Some are picky about soil, others can only handle certain altitudes. And of course, you've got the big ones, massive landforms like mountains and oceans that act like giant natural barriers, basically telling a species, sorry, you can't cross this line.
And of course, the field specializes. So if your obsession is animals, like our kangaroos, you're what's called a zoogeographer. But if you're totally fascinated by why you only find certain plants, like those giant sequoia trees, in very specific spots on the globe, then you're a phytogeographer. They're just two sides of the same fascinating coin.
But here's the thing. The clues in the present, they only tell us part of the story. To really understand why kangaroos are only in Australia, we have to go back in time. We need to look at the cold cases, the clues left behind by millions and millions of years of Earth's history. And trust me, this is where the story gets really epic. Just look at that first point, continental drift. For our kangaroo case, this is the smoking gun. Picture it. Millions of years ago, Australia literally breaks off from the other continents and becomes this gigantic isolated island. So the marsupials that were already there were just left to evolve all by themselves, with no competition from the other kinds of mammals taking over the rest of the world. They were basically stranded in their own evolutionary paradise. You add in stuff like ice ages pushing everyone around, and you start to see how deep history is really the one that wrote the map of life we see today.
For millions of years, those were the rules. These huge, slow, natural forces were in charge. But, pretty recently, a brand new force has entered the scene, and it's one that's rewriting the entire rulebook at a frankly terrifying speed. And that force, of course, is us. We are now a major driver of biogeography.
This really puts it all in stark contrast, doesn't it? On the left, you've got these immense, slow-moving natural forces that have shaped life over eons. And on the right, you have us. Things like deforestation, urbanization, pollution, and climate change are redrawing the map of life. Not over millions of years, but in just a few decades. We're creating new walls for some species while tearing them down for others.
So this brings us to a really crucial point. If we are the ones changing the map now, then we have a profound responsibility to understand it. Biogeography isn't just some interesting academic subject anymore. It's become one of our most critical tools for protecting all the amazing biodiversity on our planet.
So how does it actually help? Well, it gives us a practical plan of action. First, biogeography lets us identify the hotspots, the specific regions and species that are most at risk. Then, it helps us manage those areas with smart, effective strategies. And finally, all of that knowledge feeds into the ultimate goal, to conserve the rich, beautiful, and unbelievably complex tapestry of life on Earth.
And that leaves us with this final thought. The ancient forces of continental drift and evolution are now being matched, and sometimes even overpowered by human choices. The map of life has always been changing, that's a given. But now, for the first time in Earth's history, a single species is directing a lot of those changes. So the question we're left with isn't if the map will be redrawn, it's who should be holding the pen.